Welcome to episode 28 of the D&D Football Factory podcast. I'm here with the guys. We're just going to bang out our Premier League season 24-25 season predictions here. We're going to get our bottom threes in, and we're going to do our top eights and have some honourable mentions, etc., and everything else thrown in. Dubul Dee, I'm here.
D-Man, I'm here. Big up.
Big Sam in the place. I'm here.
Eventually, Big Sammy.
Darren T, I'm here.
Excellent. There was going to be more of us, but we had to. Some people had to drop out due to things that had to get done. So we're just here, just going to get it done. Right? Everybody good though?
Yep.
Yeah, man. All good, man. Yeah, man. All good. Ready for the season ahead, man. I'm looking forward to it, man. I've been waiting, man. What's it been, a 3-month wait? I know we had the Euros, Olympics, but the real football's back now.
I could have been done with another week, if I'm to be perfectly honest, because of the sheer fact that we've had the Euros and Olympics and what. I've been kind of caught off guard, bruv.
This is the prerequisite. Them things were like the warm up, innit? Like it just gets you back into the mood. The nitty gritty is here, innit? The nitty gritty is here.
Do you know why I messed myself up though? Because I said I wouldn't do it. I'd give myself a little rest. But me, E-Man, and some others, Melito, we did fantasy for the Euros, innit?
Oh,
so I suppose that's why I felt like I've not given myself a proper break, because I was there banging out the teams every fully involved every couple of days, like it's the flipping Premier League season. You get me? So, boy, talking of that, the FBO pod and the European pod, hopefully as well, should be coming back to shoot the defence. That'll be me and Coach on the Euro one. And we'll see who else, and then FPL one we'll see in that. D, 90s Mags.
Yeah, just obviously check out the 90s Mag podcast. Myself, AC and Jefferson. You know, just some lifelong Newcastle United fans discussing everything Newcastle United related, touching other teams as well. But yeah, we'll be started just before the season. Well, as the season ended. But we're getting into nitty gritty now, so we're going to be previewing games, reviewing games, and having other guests from other rival teams on as well throughout the season. But yeah, man, check it out. 90s Max podcast.
Cool. Right, so yeah, in regards to this, if you're watching this on YouTube, at DD Footy Pod is the podcast page. We also have the main page, the at DD Footy Factory _ page, and that is in regards, because obviously we have the weekly radio show, which is on Top FM on Saturday mornings from 10 a.m. to midday. That's on Top FM, 95.5 FM in London. But if you're outside of London, probably best to listen on the TuneIn Radio app, or there is of course the on Top FM app as well, which is much more quicker and you get less adverts than if you are on TuneIn Radio. So that's on Top FM, 95.5 FM. That's the Footy on Top show with us, the D&D Football Factory, on Saturday mornings from 10 a.m. to midday. Right, who's making noise? Right, let's get it started then, peeps. We'll go around. At a stage, I was going to say go top to bottom, but then if we do that, some people might lock it off straight away after we've done the top prediction. No, I'm playing. Right, so we're going to go from, we'll do the bottom three first. My one, not boring, but I'm just going to say it's kind of bland, but I'm just, as much as I'd like Everton to drop out because they've been really, I don't know how they keep on doing it every season, right? But I'm going to go with the three that come up, unfortunately. Southampton, Leicester, who were the champions. Because am I right? Have Leicester got points?
They haven't confirmed yet if they have got one, but it's looking like they will hold one. Yeah.
Even if not, I think that, they may go losing the likes of Dewsbury, who he was outstanding for them last season. I would say also losing the likes of Iheanacho, but they didn't play him as much last season. Him or Daka, they still persisted with Vardy. Don't get to they have got some exciting players, and I think they'll still get some results, but I think they'll go. So yeah, I'm good. Yeah, the three that come up: Ipswich, Leicester and Southampton. I'm going with them to come down. Though, in terms of the Southampton one, I've kind of gone against my policy because usually when we do these season previews, I always say that if they've got a player that could get them double-figure Premier League goals, that could help them. And I actually think Ben Brereton Diaz could do that. But I still don't know if don't get twisted. They're going to play some nice football, as I think Ipswich will. But I don't know if they're going to have that. But again, transfer window. There's still time. 2 weeks, just over 2 weeks of transfer window closes. That could all. It could change. It could all change. But yeah, D man, what are you saying?
Well, I've got two of the newly promoted teams. I've got Ipswich to finish bottom. I know they've made a few signings, Liam Delap from Man City, Amari Hutchinson, who I'm interested to see how he does in the Prem as well. And they've just signed Calvin Phillips. So I don't know if that's going to change things, but from the Calvin Phillips that we saw at West Ham, it's not really going to make that much of a difference. So I've got those two to go down. But I've also got Everton to go down. Right now, mainly it could be because I hate the team anyway. I hate the club, hate the team, hate the manager. And Newcastle don't have a great record at the past anyway, and they clapped us. I think it was 3-0 last time when Kieran Trippier had that mare. But listen, they play boring football. They're thugs, and they scrape by every season by the skin of their teeth. So they let Castle run out somehow. And similar, I still think they may also hold another points deduction in the season. So we'll see. But yeah, I've got Ipswich, Southampton, and Everton. Leicester, I think, with experience of the likes of Vardy, they've got a couple decent players, and they've got what's the manager's name? The Old Forest manager,
Steve Cooper.
Yeah, he knows how to keep a team up. I think they might just scrape it.
They've got because Leicester got thing, didn't they? Bobby Reid, Bobby Decordova Reid.
Yeah.
Was that a free or did they buy him from Fulham? Because that was right, because that happened right just before the Euro started. I completely forgot about that one. I think this is with Ipswich as well. Why they will be interesting, and that's why I hate having them first game of the season. You've just mentioned Calvin Phillips, but they're meant to be getting Sammy Smodic from Blackburn as well, and that guy is a bagsman. Yeah, he was on the bench for Blackburn's game last week. Scored a couple in the cup on Tuesday, but it looks like he's off to Ipswich as well. That'll be the next signing after Phillips. So don't get twisted. They're being active. So actually going for these teams in my bottom three is kind of going against the policies I usually go with when doing a preview in regards to having players that can get goals. So that might mean the likes of Everton get involved in it. Some have mentioned Brentford's name, if it is a case that Tony goes. But yeah, Sam, who's your bottom three, Sammy?
Well, I'm gonna go against saying that all the three promoted teams are all gonna get relegated because I think that Leicester will be okay. I think they'll be okay, but I think Ipswich and Southampton will definitely go back down. I know Leicester have signed, like you said, Bobby Decordova Reid. They signed Bonanotte. They signed one of your guys from Atalanta as well. I think
Caleb Bacoli.
Yeah, he's decent as well. So I think Steve Cooper will do enough to keep them up. I'm going to say Forest. I think Forest will actually go down. Yeah, I think they just about survived last season under Nuno, and then Nuffman were calling for his head, irrespective of them going down or not. So I think Forest will go down. Again, they've been busy as well. They've signed players, but I don't think I don't think they'll survive this season, if I'm being honest.
I think Forest have got too much firepower. I think in Gibbs White, as long as what goes in the next 2 weeks, I think Gibbs White, Hudson-Odoi especially, Elanga. I think they've got too many. I think they've got too many people that can turn up. Yeah, Chris Wood. Thank you. I think they've got
the other end.
Too many people.
The other end that concerns me. really, because they've got those players. I mean, I think.
What are you saying? Because they got rid of Odi Vlachodimos to Newcastle, you're saying that makes them weaker? Man like Odi.
Man said the Greek god. They got rid of the Greek god. It's not happening.
We can't forget Taiwo Awoniyi
as well. Yeah, this is what I'm saying.
Well. Yeah,
this is what I'm saying. There's too much firepower there. They'll be able to sneak out, even if it is a case where they're back end of the season. They'll be able to sneak out. And we all remember how stubborn Forest were under Nuno, and now he's got more time. He's had a summer with the players that he didn't have before and whatnot. I think, and don't forget they've added Elliot Anderson from Newcastle. I'm a fan of, obviously, because of the PSR. The Magnets had to go. And did they get another player from you lot? Did they get two players from you lot, or was it just Henderson?
No,
just Anderson, I think.
Yeah, just Anderson. Yeah, which I'm interested to see how he does, because a lot of Newcastle fans were disappointed to see him go. It's gonna sound bad, but I didn't really care, to be honest. Like, he decent player, but I asked people, what is he actually very good at? Like, he's okay at defending, he's okay at attacking. He, without scoring, registering a goal or assist for us. He's not gonna beat a man. Like, he can't play in the preferred position on the left. We're stacked in that position. Centre midfield, we've got about 6 players before him. Is he really that much of a big miss? I hope he does well at Forest, but I just don't see what he could have added to Newcastle going forward. So to get 35 million for him, I think that's good business. If I'm honest,
good business.
They've got in the keeper Carlos Miguel, and they got Nikola Milenkovic. That was roughly the same time as they got Anderson. That's what I was thinking to myself. Did they get 2 from Newcastle? But no, it was the keeper going the other way, going to Newcastle from Forest as well. That Forest are another team, just a bag of goalkeepers. I don't know what they're doing, but I think they'll be okay. But Darren T, what are you saying? Who's your 3 to go down?
Right. So for me, I'm still undecided on 1. Right. I think Everton go, because Dycheball just can't last. He won't last in the
I just think people want them to go down, but the reality will kick in. Even if it goes to the last day, you know what's going to happen. But a deflected Calvert-Lewin goal.
They remind me of the Charlton side of the 80s or the 90s, the Escapologists. I don't know if anybody remembers them.
Yeah,
like they just always escaped right at the end of the season. Like that's what they're trying to do now. But I think their luck will run out. I think Everton will go. They can't, signings wise. I know they're doing all that jiggery pokery with trying to sort out the FFP, but I just don't think it's enough. I don't think it's enough. You cannot, and also firepower wise, the fact you relied on Calvert-Lewin for so long is going to bite you on the backside soon enough. Do you know what I mean? So I think Everton will their free paper will bun up, as we say in Jamaica. Free paper will bun up, yeah. And another one for me, Southampton. I think Southampton will go, just because maybe I'm mistaken. I haven't seen them do as much in the market as Ipswich will, and I tip Ipswich to actually stay up. I actually do tip Ipswich to stay up. So I think Southampton are the second one. I'm really undecided on the third one, because I'm looking at, I'm going to say something, it might be controversial, It could be Wolves, It could be Wolves.
Someone else, I've heard of someone else.
It could be Wolves,
I've heard I don't think so, but I've heard someone else mention.
I was looking at, because it's Gary O'Neill's got a good side going, but right, they've lost Pedro Neto. That's a big loss for them. Up top, really, are they got the firepower up top? They're just middle of the road. They were middle of the road.
They've lost their captain. They've lost their captain. Kilman's gone to West Ham.
Tillman went. Yes, he did. He went to West Ham. So I don't know. The thing is, it's very hard because you just don't know what's going to happen in the market. He's still got, like he said, 2 weeks to go in the market. So it's very, very hard. It could all change. Jorge Mendes could pull out some master strokes in the next 2 weeks.
Who's their main striker?
Cunha.
Okay. Yeah.
Holdings is back as well.
Who I like. Well, yeah, but Polish isn't
Yeah.
a striker. Polish
Yeah.
isn't a striker, though. But
Yeah,
yeah,
Foden.
a forward though, Sam. But yeah, but we'll
Yeah.
see because he had a good spell back on loan at Olympiacos, who they bought from
Yeah.
Poland. So I don't know if he'll still be there for the new season. But the thing is, why I understand why some people be saying that about Wolves is because O'Neill spoke on Talksport, and it doesn't look like he's going to get all of the money that they're getting for selling these players, which will be a little worrying. But
Yeah, I just think to myself, yeah, will they have done enough by the 30th of August? Because I was gonna say Bournemouth, and then I looked at Bournemouth earlier, and I looked at who they brought in, and they've done some business. They've quietly gone about their business. They've already replaced Solanke with what's his name, Evan Nilsson.
Evan Nilsson, yeah,
Unknown quantity to me, unknown quantity in the Prem, but they've gone and replaced Solanke immediately and found a profile immediately. They've gone and got a few. So I have a feeling that it really is going to boil down to what Wolves do in the transfer market, really, because they've been up and down. And Gary O'Neill's he's got good, he's good tactically, but with the personnel and the injuries as well, are they going to have the same sort of injuries they had last season? I just feel like maybe their time might be up. Controversial, but that's my take. So it's Everton, Southampton, Wolves for me.
Cool. Right. Let me rearrange the order up. D-Man, I'm coming to you first, yeah? I'm just looking at mine again because I've been wrangling with it, right? We'll do top 8. So we'll start with your 8 to 5, or 5 through 8 rather.
Right. So I'm gonna see if I can keep it consistent with what I had for the
on 90s mags.
On 90s mags, yeah. So all right. I know because we did top 7, so I can tell you who my 8's gonna be. Yeah. And a lot of people, judging by what most people have said in the podcast that I've watched.
Have they got? Is their nickname initials R&D?
Wait,
because I already know. Obviously, other listeners won't know, but
yeah.
I know you're 7 through 5. But obviously, just for this preview show, because it's like after you lot recorded your one.
Right. So I've got 8th. I'm gonna go Manchester United. Right now, a lot of people have Man United in their top 4. Right, and for the love of God, I cannot understand why. Right, because they were pathetic last season. Right, I think they finished 8th last season anyway, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
Right now, they still haven't replaced the woeful striker. Yeah, Hoyland. Right. And I know he's young and whatnot. I don't think he's going to have a good season again this season, right? I think he's injured anyway at the moment, right? Okay, they bought Delit, yeah, who hasn't been good for the last couple of seasons, right? I actually was very good. Then he made the move to, I think it was the Juve and Bayern, and it hasn't worked out for him, right? So they still got that dodgy keeper, right? Onana, right? You said it's going to be. He's going to be very. Was it more Hollywood this season or whatever he said? I don't know. But the guy's a loose cannon. Right?
He's going to take risks. Yeah, he's going to take risks.
And they still don't have a philosophy. Now, don't get me wrong. They played okay against Man City in the Community Shield last week, right? But we have to remember that was Man City's youth team, right? Because there was a lot of players missing in that game, right? For Man City, and Man United played pretty much what was available to them at the time. Right, so I don't think you can really go on that. Now, to me, there's still no philosophy. They still got Casemiro, old man Casemiro, in midfield. Until they sort out that midfield, I'm not trusting that team. Don't get me wrong; they'll scrape these last minute wins here and there, and they'll get by in that. But if I'm looking at the 17s, I've got them above them. At the moment, I cannot put them above them. I can't. So they're my 8th, right?
And that's why, because I knew your top 7, that's why I intentionally said top 8.
Yeah. The team I've left out is even more shocking. But anyway, so 7th, I've got West Ham, right? Because West Ham have done some good business from what I can see. Right, they've got Kilman in. They've got Fulcrook, which I think is a big one because they needed a striker. Yeah, and he's a quality striker. So if he can hit the ground running, I think that would be very, very good for them. They've just signed Wan-Bissaka. Now, Wan-Bissaka, as a one-on-one defender, he's very, very good. Offensively, not great, but as a one-on-one defender, I think he improves West Ham. Right? You've also got the Paqueta, Alvarez, Kudus, Bowen already there, right?
That's a lot of things.
That's a lot of stuff in your arsenal. So to me, it's how quick can they, they can adapt to Lopetegui's philosophy and his ideas. If they can really take them more quickly, then I think they can be very dangerous this season. I think they'll be pushing for that top 6. I think they'll fall a bit short, but with in football as well, I think there's a huge benefit to them as well. So I think they're gonna pack a few teams in. I think they're gonna be very, very hard to beat as well. So they're my 7th. Now 6th, I've got Aston Villa.
Okay.
Now, a couple reasons why I think they're falling below the 4th place that they finished last season. The obvious reason is they've got Champions League football. Yeah. And it's not just 6 games they're going to play. They're guaranteed, I think it's 8 games now. Yeah. Which I think will take a huge toll on their squad. The 2 games a week. We've seen what happened with Newcastle last season. Yes, they've got the manager who's got more experience in Europe, but at the same time, it's his Champions League. Yeah. And they sold Douglas Luiz, right? Yes, they bought Onana in, they bought Barkley, they've got Barkley in, amongst a few others. They got Matson, a left back, which I think is a good buy. But I'm not sure they're as strong or stronger than they were last season. And also, is Ollie Watkins going to produce that kind of goal scoring season that he did last season? I'm not so sure. Happy if he does, because I think he's a good striker. But I'm not sure if he's going to carry that on this coming season. And those goals were very, very important. And they've lost Diaby, which I didn't understand as well.
They're in it. Villa had massed it, so they had to make a couple.
Yeah,
so, Douglas Luiz and Diaby and the thingy.
and with the form of Leon Bailey in it, like it kind of kept him.
Yeah,
kept
that
him
benched
out.
Diaby here because Diaby started to see last season well, didn't he? But then Bailey stepped up. Yeah.
But yes, so they're my 6th place, and in 5th place, I've got Spurs. Now, Spurs could have been 4th, but I'm gonna give them 4th because I think Spurs will have a good season. I think the sign of Dominic Solanke is a good one. It's a very good one. A lot of people are, is he worth 65 million? Is he going to do the job? And carrying on from Harry Kane, I think the fact he didn't come straight in after Kane, I think that will help him. And I think the way Ange plays his football, Tottenham create a lot of chances. Yeah. So I think he will get a large number of goals in the Premier League, and also more importantly, it relieves Son from that number 9 position. Son is now put back on his natural position on the wing, and you know what he can do from that side as well. So, they've got. I know they've suspended Basuma for the first game and stuff, but they've got a good midfield. The defense.
Wait, D. What did you just? D. Did you just say that Basuma's been suspended?
Yeah.
Have Chelsea suspended Enzo?
Of course not.
Oh, okay, cool.
Chelsea don't know what they're doing, did they?
Sorry, continue. Sorry, I just had to ask the question. Sorry.
No, but I think Tottenham. I ridicule Tottenham defense all the time, but in all seriousness, they got a good defense. They got good defense. A solid. If that defense can stay fit, I'm talking about Porro, Van de Ven, Romero, and Udogie. Yeah, I think they'll do very well. And then the keeper, good keeper, but he needs to work on his set pieces. I think he's too lightweight. If he can sort that out, because teams will target him, they will target. But if he can sort that out, then I think Tottenham are in for a very good season. So, and another year under Ange Ball, I think he will tweak it a little bit because that high line was just suicidal. Yeah, suicidal at times. So when you're playing them big teams, I think you're gonna have to drop back about 5 or 10 yards and adapt it a little bit. But I think they'll do all right. So that's my 8th to 5th.
Yeah. Right, my 8 through 5. Let me get my list back up. Not to not too dissimilar to yours, just some places rearranged. So 8th, I've got West Ham. Because to add to what you said also as well, so obviously at the back, they've stacked their squad like they're in Europe again, and obviously they're not. But yeah, Wan-Bissaka and Kilman at the back. We all know how good a goalkeeper Ariola is. They've got Luis Guilherme, that Brazilian who's meant to be exciting. I don't know too much about him though. Crescencio Somerville. They've got in Fulkrug, as you said. They've got Guido Rodriguez on a free. He was at Betis, which is an interesting one because obviously they've got Edson Alvarez that plays that position. So they've almost stacked, and obviously getting Wan-Bissaka, Kufal plays there as well. So they've almost stacked two in each position. So if they were to get some injuries, they could be okay. So yeah, I like the direction I like what they're doing there. So yeah, I've got them 8th. They could finish higher, but I think they're going to have a good cup run in there, maybe even in both. But I like what they're doing. The intent that they're showing is good. But yeah, and the thing is with Fulcook as well is that because he is such a handful, he's going to bring others into play. So Jared Bowen's just been made their captain. So yeah, obviously Ward Prowse still there and whatnot. I like Souček that they've got a good squad. So I got them 8th. Could end up being higher. We'll see. 7th, I got Villa. Just because of the case where I'm not sure losing Douglas Luiz huge, as Dee's pointed out, to losing Diaby only 1 year, but they had to make some money. That's why they were having all these mad transfers just before PSR youngsters going for a certain amount of money. They got in 1 or 2 themselves. It all seemed a bit dodgy, but they've come through that. They might be looking to spend some more P. A lot of teams want John Duran, so if he had to go, if he was sold, they would need another front man because then otherwise, if anything happens to Watkins, they'll get found out. But Emery's obviously managed it before numerous times. But can he do bits with this squad in the Champions League and this weird new prolonged format with the big league table and you only play a certain amount of teams and whatnot? It depends how the figures of that, how they'll adapt to it. So I've got them 7th. At the moment, if they don't deal with it as good as Emery's done, there could be even lower. But we'll see how far they could go. 6th, I've got Man United. As much as I hate the club, at least they're being active and doing something because my club is I know one, so it must be nice. But look, Delit maybe because of the fact, obviously being under Ten Hag again, he can do better. Majraoui can play on the right and the left. Better going forward than Wan-Bissaka, but not as good defensively as him. Can give Dallo a run for his money going forward. So I think once everybody's fit, it will be him on the right, Shaw on the left. I was just going to say if Onana behaves himself, but he's already said that he's not going to. In the Xerxes more like a 9.5, like a tool, like he'll bring others into play and whatnot. But he's a good player. I think that they'll do some more business, but I think that they'll be better. I don't think they'll finish as high as some other people. I've seen someone on like a known person talk about them possibly finishing third. I'm not sure about all of that top 4, but I think they'll be better than last season, and they'll be better equipped for if they have injuries. So I've got them 6th and 5th. I've got Newcastle, but if they do business in the next 2 weeks, it could be a top 14 because no Europe. But my worry with them again, obviously now Tonali can sit and do the register thing, which will allow Bruno to express himself more in a box-to-box role. But again, I'm worried about in terms of what Hal does in training and whatnot about if they get injuries again. That's my worry. If they can stay,
man. If the performance director James Bunce is gonna sort that, bruv.
Jeez!
He's gonna sort that.
If they can stay clear of injury tonight, then they could do 4th. So keep Isak fit. I think we'll get 20 league goals from him. So yeah, we'll see. But at the moment, on the 15th of August, when this podcast is being recorded, I've got Newcastle 5th. You get what I'm saying? So, Sammy, what's your 5 through 8?
Okay. Starting with 8, I'm going to agree with you with regards to West Ham. They've done very well to buy the players that they've got. Particularly impressed with them getting Kilman and Fulkrug. So, like you said, they've added to their squad, and there's a measure of strength and depth there as well. They're not in Europe, but it's clear that with Lopetegui at the helm, he wants to get them in that position. But yeah, I think they're stacked. They're stacked, and the business that they've done very good business. So they will be a tough nut to crack this season. In seventh, I have put Man United. I'm still not sure about them in regards to. Well, a lot of people aren't sure about them in regards to. They've got a lot of fixing to do, and you've got that goalkeeper. Like I said, he's been talking again about how he's going to be this and that, and they've added to their squad. The Lenny Euro guy, he's injured. He's not going to be available for a while. Hoyland won't be available for a while, but they've got that Xerxes kid from was he from Lyon?
No, they got Xerxes from Bologna.
Bologna.
Used to play for Bayern Munich.
Yeah, so yeah, so I mean, like we said a few weeks ago, probably a few months ago, with regards to managers whose heads will probably be on the chopping block if the season doesn't go in their favor. Ten Hag is one of those managers, especially if you look at the end of last season. That FA Cup saved his job, saved his neck. So, the fans, the board have appeased the fans by buying players as soon as, but it's whether or not he can get them gelling and get the cohesion going. And there's certain players that I'm surprised are still there, like the likes of Casemiro. I thought it was done, bruv. I thought it was done, but he's still there. So Darren T from gone. So Man United 7, Villa I've got in 6. I think with regards to like Dubs alluded to it, with regards to the new layout, with regards to the Champions League, I think, and losing Douglas Luiz, even though they've added, I think they've got Cameron Archer as well to their ranks. But I think it will be a different season for them. I think it will be a tougher test for them this season, managing your bread and butter in the league as well as European responsibilities. So I'm going to have them in 6. And in 5th, I am going to put your team, Darren T, Spurs. The Solanke buy was excellent. I rate that buy. I think Solanke's season, obviously we said that on the show on Saturday, he didn't work out. It didn't work out for us when he was there. But again, it's, he was a young lad, a young player, learning his trade. He's had time now. He's been at Bournemouth, had the best season of his life at Bournemouth, and that basically put him in the shop window. So Spurs did very well to acquire his services. And even if you look at the players that he'll have around him, he'll get goals. He'll bag goals. I think he'll be very successful at Spurs. So Spurs are in Europe, but I think they'll do well, better in the league than they did last season. So yeah, 5th.
Cool. Mr. Darren T, what are you saying?
All right, it's a difficult one. Nobody's mentioned Chelsea yet, and I was sitting there, I'm thinking about it. Where are they actually going to finish? They've had such a bad pre-season. I actually think they'll finish below 8th. But we'll see. We just don't know.
If they kept Poch, then my team could.
Yeah, if we Poch, it would be different.
But I don't know.
Different, but Maresca, he's an unknown quantity, and they haven't really done that well pre-seasons from what I've seen. But anyway, right, I digress. So 8th, I'm gonna go Villa, just because they lost Douglas Luiz, who was such an influential player. He was very influential in that Villa side, and wasn't he their set piece taker? He was their penalty taker. He was their free kick taker, I believe. He was just an all-round boss at Villa. Losing DRB, even though Bailey was on form, having DRB there, when he came on, he made an impact. Do you know what I mean? He did. That's a big one for them. And I agree with D in terms of like Ollie Watkins. he's not super young. He's coming up to 29 if he's not 29 already. Do you know what I mean? Can he keep that level up? He's got the scoring ability. Definitely, he has got the scoring ability. But is he going to be able to manage the rigors of the Champions League and the Prem, the team as a whole? So I feel like every time you see a team come top four and then and they have a run in Europe and you see their Prem form dips. And even though Villa did well last season, they took a few beatings like that 4-0 to us. Let's throw that in there.
Man, I had to
You know what I
set
mean?
that in there.
Yeah, I have to throw that in there. Really. But they can hold them kind of beatings. Do you see what I'm saying?
Newcastle beat him 5-1.
5-1.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. There you go. I mean, but
beat them twice. Beat them twice.
Villa scored. Villa scored. You didn't keep a clean sheet, but we did. But yes. So, no, but that's what I'm saying. They were holding beatings even when they were like, you know what I mean? When they were on, they had such a great season last season. So I could see that happening again. So 8th for me, right? I'm gonna 7th, right? Controversially, I'm gonna go Man United.
When you said controversially, I thought you were going to say Liverpool for a minute. I was about to look.
I was going to say Newcastle, bro. I was about to say what?
No. You know what? Because who's got them 6? Who's got them
Jimmy Butler.
Say what?
No, I'm a realist out here. But I know it's not a massive indicator, but it's an indicator all the same. I was at the Community Shield on Saturday, and I said, all right, I'm gonna watch this lot first time. City played their kids. City played Oscar Bob, Rico Lewis, and 2 other kids whose names I can't even remember. Although they were decent. What's that?
O'Reilly.
McAtee.
O'Reilly play? O'Reilly.
Was it O'Reilly? Tall.
Yeah.
There's about 3 light skin youths in there. Like it was just with hair, lots of hair. Right? I know the Oscar Bob, Rico Lewis, and they did. Haaland's never beaten the allegations, by the way, but that's a whole different story. But United still struggled. Now, my thing is, we've mentioned all their signings, the Delits, Xerxes, Mazraoui, and what have you, but there are still glaring holes, but there are some glaringly obvious bad performances on Saturday.
What I'm going to ask you is something that I touched on the show. Ten Hag stayed in because they already said they're going to axe him, but he won the cup. They just had to give him more time. But they've got Van Nistelrooy in there who actually did okay at PSV, and some behind the scenes stuff that we might not ever find out why he ended up leaving after winning something there, right? What if if Ten Hag doesn't have the best start and they axe him and they put Van Nistelrooy in there? Would that change where you placed him in your table?
You know what? I don't know. But for now, I'm only going by what I know, what's going on for now, right? And right now, Ten Hag is still in charge. And the fact of the matter is, he actually deserves to be in charge because he won 2 in 2, innit he? He's won 2 seasons. He's won 2 in 2, so he deserves to be in charge. But that league, I just don't see how much of an improvement they're gonna make. I just don't. Rashford, the form is just been abysmal, and it continues to be. I don't see where he's gonna go. Bruno saves their bacon a lot, but he's still whiny and falls over a lot. Maguire's there. Let's not forget Maguire's still there. Maguire's back fit. He's still there. He may not start. Who's they gonna have at the back? They're gonna have who they just buy? They've got Delit and who else? They're gonna have Delit. It's probably
Delit and Martinez are centre back.
Classic Martinez.
They bought Euro, but because he's injured, he's obviously not going to be starting the season.
So he's going to be out for a minute. I'm just not convinced by them. I'm not. Even though they made those signings.
Rid of Anthony, bro. Until they can get rid of Anthony, that team's going nowhere, bro. That club is going nowhere. Bro. Yeah. About you're going to see more goals and assists this season. What? 3? Nah, bro.
What if they were to get a Ugarte, for instance?
Now, that could be a game changer.
Change things. Yeah, that could change things. That could change things. It really could. But I don't know. As it stands, they don't. I don't look at them and go, "Raw, these men are a threat." Do you know what I mean? So they are going to be seventh for me. Seventh. So I've done eighth, seventh, sixth. West Ham. They're going to be a surprise package. I'm not surprise package. They made good signings. They seem to have much more of a plan than they did under David Moyes. It just depends on whether that team will gel or not. I think they will. I think Fulkrug is quite the battler up top.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what's needed. He's quite the battler up top. I think, you have to think that Kudus as well, man. That brother's gonna cook this season as well, man. Do you know what I mean? I'm scared of him. I'm scared of us playing him. Kudus is gonna cook. Like, they've got a good squad. And there's no Europe for them, is there? So
No.
they're gonna have that advantage. So I think West Ham are sixth. Fifth, and I'll say just, and this is a grudging fifth, but I'm a realist. Us, Tottenham. I think we'll finish fifth. Europe, we've got the Europa League. I want us to have a real good stab at the Europa. I really do. Give it our all in the cup competitions this season. Do you know what I mean? Give it our all. We're not ready to win the league yet. With the current personnel, because we've dilly-dallied in the transfer market as well. All of this promise, Anthony wants it early and he wants players in early and rare and blah, blah, blah. Like, nothing's, you know what I mean? These men are always, I'm not talking about Ange, but Levy's always just dragging his feet with transfers and that, man. Nothing's really changed. Archie Gray is a good signing. Is he going to be a good number 6? Who knows? He could be a bit flimsy. I don't know. Bergwell's a good signing. Sorry, sneeze there. Sorry.
Bless you.
Sorry. Yeah, can edit that one out. Bergwell is going to be a good signing. I think you're going to really see the best of him this season. You're going to see how good he really is this season. Solanke was a great buy, because what he's going to do, he's going to bag 20, at least 20 in all competitions this season. And I think what he's going to stop as well, and I think I alluded to it on Saturday, he's going to hold the ball up. So he's not going to lose the ball as easy. He's got good link-up play. Son used to just lose the ball immediately and then just turned over, gone down the other end. That's going to give the back line, because it's going to be high, the back line time to readjust on the counter if needs be. However, that the back line, as good as the back line is, tactically, I'm from what I'm getting, he's still playing that high line, and he's still not very good on set pieces. We haven't got a set piece coach. That is concerning. We don't deal with crosses as well as we should. We don't deal with free kicks as well as we should. And I think that's going to be our. Remember, we conceded like 63 goals in the Prem last season.
Goodness me.
So it's not going to be. It's not going to be. I don't think it's going to be as plain sailing for us in the league. So I can't knowingly turn around and say that we're going to finish top 4. I don't know. Ange could either do very well or be sacked by December. I'm just not sure. And I just think tactically, judging by what's going on in pre-season, he's got to be less stubborn than he was last season. And I'm not sure if that's going to be the case. So I'm going to put us 5th, because we have got a good enough team to finish in those positions. But tactically is where is my concern. That's my main concern, tactically. So yeah, that's my 5. That's my 8th to 5th.
Cool. Right, we'll rearrange the order. Sam, then. Top 4.
Top 4. And you'll be happy about this, D man. I am going to go for Newcastle 4th. I think what the problem was, and what was evident was that the struggles with regards to the injuries really hindered Newcastle quite a bit last season, and also the Tonali affair. Not being able to see a talented player like that play a length of a whole season was quite painful. But he got himself in that situation, so he had to pay the price. Regardless of that, having the players that Newcastle have, and then having an excellent striker in Isak, and again, there's no European hangover. I think they'll do some damage this season. I think they'll do some serious damage. Callum Wilson doesn't seem to be going anywhere, and he may not again.
Can't move, bro.
He's
always injured.
He'll have his injury worries, but he's guaranteed at least double figures a season, so he will contribute. But most of the squad that did well for Eddie is still there. I mean, Almiron, you can say what you want about him, but I'm sure
they keep him. I hope they keep him.
If they keep him, they keep him. If he moves on, he moves on. But it looks like he'll probably go. I reckon. Good servant, but I think he'll get a step. He'll move on. If I'm being honest. Regardless of that, I think Newcastle have what it takes. I think they've Eddie and the guys. I think they've learned a lot from last season. And I think they'll crack on. I think they'll push on, and I think they'll get fourth. Third place, I'm going to say Liverpool. I think the thing with us, we haven't bought anybody. There's been no business. I mean, there's this talk about getting the Georgian goalkeeper in. Again, it's something that doesn't make sense to me unless Alisson is not happy with his situation. But we'll see what happens. But the only pro against the con with not buying any players is that a lot of the squad is still there. The squad is still there, and we've more or less got cover in each position across the 11. So we have that strength in depth. But all it is now is that we have to hope that whatever Slot is planning to bring to the team, we've seen glimpses of it in the friendlies, and it looks good. But for the most part, some of the same problems are still there. So he needs to, remedy those problems sharpish. But the squad is still there. Yes, there's 2 weeks left before the window closes, so anything can happen. But I'm confident in the fact that, no one else is going to leave. Carvalho left. I was hoping he would stay, but it's good that he's gone to Brentford to get first team football. So I'm happy for him in that respect. But I'm going to say third for us. Second, this is going to be tough. And I'm going to go for City. I'm going to say City second. That is a bit of a mad one because, you'd think that they would just crack on and just carry on like they usually do. They may even start, with City, they can start poorly. It's not how you start, it's how you finish. And these guys always finish strong. The only thing I would say, I'm struggling with this one because I said this last time.
That's what I was going to say. The way you said you prepared it like it was going to be a shock. You said it last season. I was the only one that tipped City to win the league last season, bro. So to me, at the moment, they look even weaker than that. So it was no surprise. I know who everyone's going to go for. That's why I prefer to order
City second, which leaves Arsenal at top. I don't see them missing that again. I don't see them missing that again. I think they haven't got that. The only problem is they haven't got a bad boy striker. They haven't got that top striker. You know, the Nketiah situation, I still don't know what's going on with that. I thought it was a done deal with Monaco. I went to the game against Bayer Leverkusen. He made an appearance. So again, we have weeks left to the window closes into the season. You could stay. You could go last minute. I don't know, but they need somebody in. They need a gunman in there to really get things going. That's all that's missing from that team. They've got most of the ingredients there. They just need that gunman.
Cool. Darren T, your top 4, please.
Right. So 4th, I'm with Sam. I'm going Newcastle. Just because it's really dependent on injuries. Because I don't know, squad depth wise, I still don't think they're there. However, no Europe. An injury-free Newcastle. You got, Tonali's now ready. You got Bruno Guimaraes, Joe Linton. Isak is up there as one of the best strikers in the Premier League. I'm trying to think who's better. Or the best all-round striker in the Premier League. It could be, they could do a lot of things. So I tip them for 4th because I don't think they'll have the injury problems that they had last season. I think they should be over that now. We hope not, but we just but I just don't think they'll have the injury problems. I think they're able to keep the side together, but they do need a couple. They need a few more in. I would say they need a few more in. Like I said, it's 2 weeks before the end of the window, so they're 4th. Liverpool are 3rd. To me, I don't know what you say because I haven't really been watching pre-season. I've just been watching the Olympics. I watched the Euros, then the Olympics. That's been me, and I've been Spurs free the whole summer, just because I need my peace. Yeah, so I just allowed the whole football thing for the summer. I'm not gonna lie
Serve
to you.
yourself.
Yeah, man, trust me, man, and I feel much better for it. But so I don't even know the pre-season results. I know you beat United, didn't you? In pre-season.
Yeah.
Well, we lost in like behind closed doors, whatever. We lost to Preston. That we beat Betis, beat Arsenal, beat Man United.
Oh, you beat Arsenal, okay.
Beat Sevilla on Sunday, and then played a second friendly a couple hours later and drew 0-0 Las Palmas.
Okay. So I mean, for me, it just depends. You still got a good squad. Do you know what I mean? You still got a good squad. I think Darwin gets. I think he's will have worked on his shooting in the close season. He must have.
He better.
He's got to have, man. I'm sorry.
What makes you think that's definitely the case, mate?
No.
Pray.
Salah's getting on a bit. I think he'll still. It just remains to be seen how well he will do. I'm sure he will do well, but there comes a time that the age starts to show. So I just think Liverpool finish 3rd. I think Luis Diaz. I think he'll cook this season. You need a number 6. They need a number 6. Number 6. Because there was not the thing about Liverpool. There wasn't much to tweak anyway. So it's just really about having your strikers more prolific and having that number 6. You got to address that number 6.
Yeah, because it looks like it looks like he wants no part of Endo. So, someone needs to be bought.
I mean, he was only really. Let's be real. I would have always thought he was only really bought to kind of fill the gap temporarily. Like what you're gonna need, you're Liverpool, innit? What you're gonna want is a top class DM. And I thought you would have kind of done that and scouted for that by now, to be honest with you. Who knows what they got in the pipeline? Because I know Liverpool pull out surprise ones. So yeah, Liverpool are 3rd.
Not this year, homie.
Boy, it looks so. Right, I can't listen, this is a tough one. what I'm going to say is this, yeah, with the top two, it all depends on whether Arsenal buy a striker.
Mm.
Because if they bought a prolific striker last season, they would have won the league, probably by some distance. But because of the fact they didn't, and they didn't address that need, they lost it. City. Now, when City bought Haaland, I said, and I think we said it on the show, that Haaland wasn't even their best buy that season. Alvarez was. Just because when Haaland inevitably gets injured, Alvarez can step in and step up to the plate. And so said, so done when Haaland wasn't about. Do you know what I mean? So, but I think they've weakened themselves by selling Alvarez. Even though they've strengthened themselves financially, they've weakened themselves by selling Alvarez. I think Savini's looked like a good signing. I saw him on Saturday; he did all right. But I think it boils down to a striker. That's my personal opinion. It boils down to a striker. So I'm gonna go Arsenal second because I'm not actually, as it stands, Arsenal second, City top. And again, it's going to be quite close. Because also I can't bring myself to say Arsenal are going to win the league.
That's what I
I
was
cannot
just.
do that.
That's what I was
Cannot
about to
do
say.
that.
If I
Cannot.
think
Let's be real.
in terms of your description just there, I think if it wasn't a case where you're a Tottenham fan, you hate Arsenal, I think you would have put Arsenal top.
No. Honestly, I'm gonna say it straight. I'm saying it as I see it at this moment in time. They are one striker away from winning that title. If they do not buy a striker, that it could be. I think City just know how to get it over the line. They've proven that twice in a row. And let's not. And even though Alvarez has gone, Haaland's still there. Even though I don't believe he's beating the allegations of disappearing in big games against big teams, but you know he scored goodness knows how many goals in the last couple of seasons. So he is still there, and he will still get the service. So that's why I would say that honestly, and that's my football head talking. But if they sign a striker, it changes everything.
Cool. D man, what's your top four, please, brother?
Yes, second.
Okay.
Just give me 1 second. I'm gonna get my charger. My
Cool.
laptop is gonna.
So I'm gonna go with Newcastle United in fourth place. Similar to what you guys said, but listen, when we played one game a week a couple seasons ago, we finished fourth, right? And the squad that we have now is a lot better than the squad that we had then, right? So the Tonali factor can't be ignored because obviously we've seen what he could do in that small. I think he played 10 games for us, right? And especially on his debut, what he did to Villa, man of match performance, and against, I think it was the first game against, was it Milan? Was it Milan or PSG that he played in? I can't remember.
Yeah.
That he played very well as well. Yeah. So listen, when him and Bruno Guimaraes start linking up, I think that's going to be a problem. A midfield of him, Guimaraes, and Joe Linton, I think is as good as any midfield in the Premier League, bar City, right? Now you got to look at also the back line, right? Now, last season, we know about the injuries, right? And I don't expect us to get the same amount of injuries that we did last season because, like I said, the performance director's there and we've got less games, right? So that's more time on the training field, less games, right? Now, Nick Pope was missing since December, but up until then, we had the joint best defense in the Premier League, right? So we cannot underestimate how big a miss Nick Pope was, right? He's back. If he stays injury-free, I'm assuming these guys stay injury-free, right? If he stays injury-free, that defense is going to be rock solid again because we've got Tino Livramento, who is going to be our first choice now. But Kieran Trippier, if he stays, is an able deputy. Shea, Botman when he's back, yeah? And Lewis Hall, right? Matt Target's back. Dan Burn can play left back. Lloyd Kelly can play left back. So we now got strength in depth and defense anyway, right? That midfield I mentioned, we're forgetting that we got Joe Willock as well. Now, Joe Willock, before he got injured, was balling. I think he's going to have a very instrumental season this season if he stays fit. Yeah, people are going to remember how good he actually is. And I keep saying to people, England don't need Bellingham. They got Joe Willock. Yeah? If Joe Willock, a fit and firing Joe Willock, listen, levels. Yeah. And then you've got the up front, right? So Anthony Gordon, right? We know that Liverpool won him. They may even put another bid in for him, but I expect him to stay, probably sign a new contract. Now, if he can recreate the form that he did last season, which I don't see no reason why he can't, that's going to be a huge boost for us. And we've got Harvey Barnes, who I expect to have a better season than he did last season because he's going to be injury-free again to be an able deputy. We're weak on the right-hand side. We've only got Murphy and Almiron, and that's the sticky point. We need to improve on that right-hand side, right? But up top, not only do we have the best striker in the Premier League, yes, I said it, the best striker in the Premier League, Alexander Isak, right? We've got an able deputy in Callum Wilson, who obviously he can't stay fit, but he's not a number one striker. We've now got Willa Sula from Sheffield United, who rough around the edges, young, but he can now come in and deputise, get a few minutes when Isak gets rested, gets subbed off, or play in a cup games, whatever. I'll take the pressure off Isak and Wilson to deputise, right? So, and I do believe our starting 11, bar City and Arsenal, can stand up to any 11 in the Premier League. Yeah, our first choice 11. So, to me, if they stay fit, and also if you look at the fixture that we have to begin with, all seasons, to be honest, we don't really have a really difficult patch of fixtures on paper. Yeah, especially up at the first 6 games. If we ain't in the top 3 by the time we play Man City, this brother needs to be gone. Eddie Howe needs to be sacked. Yeah. So, but I believe that he's got enough tools there. And if we get Mark Grahey, which again, he seems to be haggling over 5 million, I don't understand why. But if we get him, then that even that strengthens our defense. And I, on paper, I'd have it better than any other defense other than the top 2. But yeah, I expect them to finish 4th. And then 3rd, I've got Liverpool, mainly because of experience. Yeah, and the key play position that they have, the quality they have, goalkeeper, centre backs in Van Dijk, Quansah seems to be very good as well. You've got sufficient cover with Konate as well. Obviously, you've got Trent. Midfield is the sticky, but you've got McAllister, quality. Around that, I'm not so sure. You've got Curtis Jones, who's decent. You've got Elliott, who's decent. Gravenberch, who's decent, and Endo, who's decent. But I don't know if they're the quality that you really need. But if you can keep Jota fit, because as a finisher, he's one of the best in the Prem, and you've got Mo Salah, who can win you games by himself. So I think that, a fit Mo Salah. I don't know if is there AFCON again this year. I don't know if there is. But
next Africa is in the summer still.
Right, so you've got it for the whole season.
This summer.
I don't believe it's next. I think it's the what after. But even if not, the next one's in the summer, regardless.
So you've got him for the season. So and it'll be interesting to see how Slot gets what he gets from Cody Gakpo, because Klopp was playing him out of position one too many times. We saw what he could do in the Euros. I think he could be. I tipped him to have a very good season like Isak last season, but maybe this coming season I think it will be coming. So, and looking at your pre-season, it looks like you've adapted to Slot's philosophy quite well as well. And I see Curtis Jones' comments. He tried to retract them a little bit, but I see comments about how they're more suited to his game and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting. But I've got you guys as 3rd. 2nd, I've got Man City. I do this every year, and every year I'm wrong. But I've got City 2nd. You touched it before, Double D. They're weaker than last season. They've sold Alvarez, and they haven't replaced him yet. Darren T, you mentioned, is it Savio? I think his name is.
Yeah,
Savinho,
looked good.
Yeah,
on Saturday.
He looked decent. But we'll see how he gets on in the Premier League. And also the main thing is to do a 5-peat. 4-peat was ridiculous anyway, but to do a 5-peat, yeah, when you've got an aging Kevin De Bruyne as well, and half the defenders can't stay fit anyway, yeah, you know what I mean? John Stones, Diaz picks up injuries, Ake's always injured, but then we saw what happened with Gvardiol once he settled in as well, one of the best defenders in the league. It's going to be tight again, but I just think the fact of trying to go again and again, they've got their eyes on the Champions League as well. I'm not sure. Haaland, listen, Haaland will be Haaland. He will score the goals. But like you said, Darren T, the big games, he does seem to not go missing, but he seems to be handled quite comfortably by physical defenders. And I think a lot of other teams are going to apply that same approach to Haaland this season. And I think it started with, is it Godfrey that rattled him a couple seasons ago?
Yeah.
Since then, you know what I mean? It's been a different Haaland we're seeing kind of thing. So if he stays fit, he might be able to get him with 1 or 2 goals within Isak's goal tally. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah.
Yeah. Delayed.
You get me?
I knew what was cooking straight away, bro. You get me?
But yeah, champions, I've got Arsenal. Listen, obviously their keeper's decent, but it's that back line. The back line looks solid, and they've got depth in that back line as well. They're not going to see many goals. They were very good defensively last season anyway. They've added Calafiori. They've got just Timber back as well. They're going to be very hard to break down. If they get Moreno as well, that even adds another dimension to the midfield. You've got Declan Rice already there. You've got Odegaard, who I think will have another good season. Up top, yes, they do. They need a striker. Listen, they've scored more goals in the last 2 seasons than they have previously. So the number of goals is not the problem. It's those games where, and to be fair, you could argue the Man City game when they drew 0-0, if they had a killer, maybe they could have won that. And the Villa game when they flopped that one, right? But other than that, they've got the best record against the top 6 last season. They're defensively sound. They were scoring lots of goals. They only dropped it. Is it 4 points since the new year, turn of the year? So I'm not sure if they need. Listen, Jesus will score more goals than he did last season because you can't end up with 3 league goals. Yeah. If he's fit, you know what I mean? So they've got Trossard who can bag in a few goals. The concern is that the over-reliance on Saka, because he plays every single game of every single competition, it seems. So, he needs a rest. He's going to suffer burnout sooner rather than later. And then on the other side, Martinelli, I don't rate him. Like, they need to improve that side as well. But I think... Yeah, but listen, if they don't win the Premier League, because they're not winning the Champions League, but if they don't win the Premier League, it may be time to move on from Mikel Arteta. He's done a great job, but if he can't get them over the line now, will he ever? I don't know. But at this moment in time, I'm going to say
it don't happen.
It happens, and also City sold Alvarez and they've lost Oscar Bob for a few months now as well on that side. So
he broke his leg. When did he break his leg?
In training.
On
Tuesday.
He's a good player, He's a very good player.
Very good player.
The way he set up that goal for Bernardo on Saturday was just classy.
You hear me? But yeah, that's my top 4. That's my top 4.
I hear you, D. And that was why I reversed up the order, because I knew that Darren T did as well, but that Darren T's it wasn't the most convincing. And he's praying more than anything that Arsenal don't do it. But 4th, I've actually got Darren T's Tottenham in 4th at the moment. But as I said, like, you can asterisk positions or whatever, because I am keeping a close eye on Newcastle, because I think that they're gonna they're going to do things, so they're going to be entertaining doing it as well. But yeah, I've got Tottenham 4th because I think Solanke's going to do well, and not even just the goal scoring, as you mentioned earlier, as you alluded to earlier, Darren T, the hold-up play, because runners off him, whether it be Son, Brendan Johnson, Kulusevski, whoever it is that starts with him, Werner when he's back fit, I think those players are going to make a whole leap of chances as well. Dragusin is fighting to get into the starting lineup, and even that gives him the option, Postecoglou, even if he wants to go with a 3 at the back. Also with the way that Dragusin's pushing, had a really solid Euros. I'm a fan of the guy. Yeah, well, Basuma better sort it out, because obviously Højbjerg's gone to Marseille, hasn't he? So if you lot, if you lot are going to let Skip go as well, um, I know obviously he showed he can play right back, but Archie Gray, depending on how quickly he can adapt to Premier League football, could be really important. But yeah, I'm a fan of his, man. I think he has the potential to go as far, if not, he could have a higher ceiling than the likes of Mainu and Wharton. Possibly, not definitely, but possibly if he's regularly used in that slot, because I saw him, obviously it was in the Championship, but I saw him at least 6 times last season for Leeds, and he can tackle, pass it, but he can really good at carrying the ball as well. Archie Gray. So yeah, I've got Tottenham fourth. They need a deep European run as well, Tottenham, to appease the fans, if anything. Right? Also as well. I've got me and Sam's team. I've got Liverpool in third. If we'd been able to get Zubimendi over the line, it might have changed things. Like when we did this last season, we thought we were going to get Sacheda, so at least this pod, so at least this pod's come after knowing that Zubimendi is going to stay at Sociedad, because otherwise I'll be sitting here optimistic about, oh well, if we revisit in 2 weeks, could be changing the table. But yeah, because the squad isn't bad, it just needed some fine tuning. There's numerous people that could play six, but they're not specialist sixes outside the Endo. And Slot is not really showing. Like, I know, was it Marseille? I think Marseille bid for him, and I think someone in Germany, might have even been Stuttgart, trying to get him back and trying to bring him in, but we don't like the price. But yeah, we need to get busy in the market. Allison, Trent, Van Dijk, all these players, Salah, all these players are 1 year away from their contracts expiring. And if it is a case they're going to get Mamadashvili and then loan him out, it might even possibly be to Bournemouth if another team in Europe doesn't come in. If they do go through with it, it means that they're preparing for Allison not to resign, and then obviously he would take over a point in being the number one. So we really need to sort out those things there. Trent, it looks like he might. Jude Bellingham might have lured him to Real Madrid. So with all this going on in the camp, as long as whether that will be a deterrent or not, I'm not sure. But the squad is not bad. But third, I don't think, as it stands now, they would run the top two as close as they did, to be perfectly honest. But a lot could change in 2 weeks. I'm not optimistic about it though. So yeah, I've got a third. But yeah, as you lot have all said between you previously, Jota, if Jota stays fit, he's not missing the chances that Darwin Núñez would get. You know what to expect from Salah, and he's looked really fit, looked boisterous in pre-season. Who will play in the 10 for us is a big question, because I want to see Harvey Elliott there, but Soboslai can play there. Even Salah could be used there. For instance, numerous people could be used in that position, but a lot hangs on Darwin because for the money we spent for him. That's why I'm not saying anything about whether the likes of Solanke are overpriced or not, because the price we paid for Darwin, I am not in a specialist position to be commenting on the overpriced strikers. So yeah, so I've got us third as it stands. Could all change, but at the moment, third. Second, I've got Arsenal, and I had a feeling that bar Darren T, Sam and Dean were going to go with Arsenal first, so rearranged the order. I've got Arsenal second. Look, the last 2 seasons, they have had injuries. I'm not going to go like they have had, but last season especially, compared to the injuries you saw for Newcastle, Liverpool, you get what I'm saying, Palace had some injuries, but obviously they were in the top bunch as well. And remember with City, De Bruyne came back, was it late November, early December? And Haaland missed like about 10 weeks of the season through 8 to 10 weeks through injury. If Arsenal get the injuries that the likes of Liverpool City have got in the last couple of seasons, and I think this might be the season that it happens, not that I want to curse anything or I wish anyone getting injured, because they were very fortunate last season in terms of injuries. When they were top for how long in the 22 to 23 season, they never won the title. They said that when they lost Saliba, it's because of that. Last season, Saliba played every single minute in the Prem, and they still didn't win the league. So I'm going to go with City, not necessarily reluctantly for first base, but what I will say is that they have to spend that Alvarez money, because they would spend money when they needed to before anyway. The hot take, if you want to say whatever it is, was a question I asked you at the end of Saturday's show, but the adverts went over as we were wrapping up the show. But I think they'll spend that money. Bob going out is a huge blow, which means I thought it might be one more addition that they make, but it might be 2 additions. But I still can't look past them because this in the crunch, however many points get dropped before Christmas, after it, they just know how to do it. Obviously, pending injuries there as well. They finished last season with a 23-game unbeaten streak, for goodness sake, and barely anyone was talking about it because in the midst of that, Arsenal was slapping 6 past Sheffield United and 5 past Crystal Palace, and they beat Liverpool 3-1, and they went to Tottenham and they won, and they put 5 past Burnley and 6 past West Ham and whatnot. So I don't know how a 23-game undefeated run could go under the radar, but it did. But I just think in the business end of the season, City now to get it done. But if they do fall short, it will be their fault because with the sales that they've made, have they left themselves short again? But then I remember saying that last season, I didn't know if, and to be honest, they bought in Kovacic and Nunes. I thought Kovacic did well, but Mateus Nunes didn't even play that much. They still got over the line with the injuries they had. So yeah, I'm going with City as champions again. That sounds madness, 5 in a row. But and this is why I'm so angry at Liverpool with the lack of business, because with what I'm saying about, I think Arsenal might not be as fortunate on the injury side as last season. We know what they're going to do defensively. Calafiori will come in at left back. And then obviously you can pay centre half as well, because that's where he's paid for Thiago and what I had him playing for the last year. But yeah, I think City will do it. So to wrap up, I want either a surprise team. You can pick either a surprise team from you lot or a hot take to wrap the pod up. I'll go to Brother D man first.
Surprise team. I'm gonna say Fulham. Because I think the sign of Smith Rowe is going to be huge. If he can stay fit, I think it's going to be huge. I'll give a hot take though. Well, I say
yeah, not true. You can do both.
Yeah, it's not really the biggest of hot takes, but I mentioned it earlier. Isak for the Golden Boot.
Okay, yeah. To an extent that some people will never ever look past Haaland, and bookies do markets with top scorer on Haaland. So to an extent, it is. You get what I'm saying in terms of like down there. But yeah, if he stays fit with the goal, because he's on penalties as well, and you've seen all times. I know now it's undoubted, but some of the chances that he'd take the ball and he'd take a touch and take another touch and take another touch. I'm thinking he should have shot, and then he just side foots it in the corner like it's nothing. So yeah, he's going to come on leaps and bounds. Good finish out. Darren T, what you said?
Okay. All right. Surprise team. I don't even know if I've got a surprise team. It would have been West Ham, but and I think that's my hot take as well. That they're going to be in the running for. They're going to be closer. They're going to be quite close in the running for top 4 in general.
West Ham. Ooh,
West Ham.
Okay.
They will eventually drop off. They will eventually drop off and finish where I said they will finish. But for quite a lot of this season, you're going to see them. I would say cooking. I don't want to say that about West Ham, but you're going to see them getting some results in there, man. They're going to beat some big teams, and their cup final against Tottenham is going to be quite super competitive. Yeah. So yeah, I think West Ham are gonna do some bits this season.
I hear you. Big Sammy, what you saying?
I'm actually gonna go just straight for the hot take and say that
Sam's got hot takes. Sam's always got hot takes, boy. Sam is the king of hot takes. Don't get it twisted. Sam is the emperor of hot takes, boy.
I'm actually gonna say that Solanke will get between 25 and 30 goals, Premier League goals, this season.
25 to 30. Whoa.
Jesus Christ. So is he getting the Golden Boot then?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That wasn't even a hot take. That scolded a few people, boy.
You know, one of my hot
King,
takes was
man.
Solanke's gonna be in the running for the Golden Boot. That was gonna be one of my hot takes.
I expect him to.
Well, Sam's just stolen it from. Sam's just stolen it
But
from.
yeah,
But I just
I didn't say. I don't think it's
more
gonna be
from-
that much. But yeah, I mean, he's
What
still
do you
got
think?
Isak, Haaland, and Darwin, and
Who?
Jack
How
Cole.
dare you mention Darwin?
Man said Darwin, you know. You meant Watkins.
You mean Jota?
We pray Darwin. We pray that Darwin.
Watkins should mean if Jota stays fit.
That's
You get what I'm
that's
saying?
another hot
Darwin,
take.
you know.
Darwin is gonna come good at some point soon. You know,
But, you know,
that's another hot
Better be
take.
this season.
It'll be at another club at this rate. You get what I'm saying?
Probably he gets. You know, he gets in good positions, man. And he's fast as well. He's fast.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
just-
He gets
Head
good
hot,
positions. He gets in good positions, and then he misses. Yeah.
Smith Rowe is going to get more assists than Odegaard.
Jeez, this is what I want to hear. Cook D,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Smith Rowe is going to get
Wait,
more
where's my
assists
Chelsea?
than Odegaard
Let me
this
check.
season.
I've got
Yeah.
Coach D.
I'm telling you. Fitness? What fitness? Listen, this brother's going to be playing every game this season, bro. Trust me. He's going to cook. Yeah.
That's what we want to hear. Right. Not really. Could you say? I'm trying to think if I've got a hot take for the, because I want to mention a team that you haven't mentioned so far. You're right. What I will say in regards to Crystal Palace is that if they'd kept Elise, and there was a show, I don't think Sam was about that, me and Dee did when we were saying it. If it was a case where Elise was still at the club, I would have had Palace in my top 8 because the way that they cooked, they cooked
100%.
outrageously in the last few months of the season. They played the best football of any team by a country mile. That 3-4-3, they had Nathaniel Klein playing as a right-handed centre, for goodness sake, and he was doing a job in there. Munoz done well. And I mean, it was hearing earlier, they're trying to get Robin Gosens, who used to be at Atalanta.
Yes.
Bad boy left.
Yeah.
But I don't know what this would mean for Tariq Mitchell, but bad boy left wing back Robin Gosens, and they're being linked heavily to him. He went to Union Berlin, but he went to Inter. It didn't really work out. And I don't know what's going on at Union Berlin, but add to the squad there. Kamada is a really good player. I've been rating him since Eintracht Frankfurt quite a few seasons ago. So though I've not got them in the top 8, if they piece it together, then I think we can still, even without Elise. Mateta looked really good in the Olympics. Again, though, Eze needs to stay fit.
You think Sarr will cook for them?
Yeah. So I will do a job out wide for them.
Yeah, will do. He will do.
There's a Baylor.
He will do.
Don't know what really happened at Marseille because the price he's gone for was kind of cheap. But yeah, Palace. Palace deserve a mention. Bournemouth. We'll see what Ethan Wilson can do. We'll see what the likes of we'll see Semenyo, etc. can do. Enes Unal will look like will start the season, and Ethan Wilson will probably worked in slowly. But yeah, so them two there. So I'll just go with 2 honourable mentions rather than a particular hot take. I might have one by Saturday, for instance. But yeah, man. But yeah. So what does anyone else want to pop something in? Otherwise, we'll wrap it up there.
Good.
No, right, cool.
Good.
All right, then socials, people. Start with D. You can plug 90s Mags again if you want, but yeah, we'll go around socials and then we're done.
Yeah, like I said at the beginning of the show, check out the 90s Mags podcast. That's 90S Mags podcast on YouTube. You can catch us on this Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well. The Twitter is 90s Mags 1990. You catch us on the Twitter as well, or the X, should I say. Personal profile at ilphenomenal25. That's phenomenal with an F. If you can't spell it, then you can't follow me.
In regard, actually, so before I go to Darren T, Ornstein tweeted earlier, Southampton are working on a deal to sign Cameron Archer from Aston Villa. If I knew that before we started, because if Archer could get goal, but boy,
that's 5 league goals.
Oh, Livies. Maybe they might be able to pull themselves up. But yeah, Darren T, you want to plug anything?
Yeah, you can follow me on Twitter at Mr. Darren_T. You can also follow me at Reach Higher Sports Management, and you can hit me up at www.reachhighermanagement.com for all your football agency representation needs.
Big Sammy.
On Instagram, I am at Sam the Man Who Can, and on X, formerly known as Twitter, Big Sam A79.
Cool. Right, I love Dubul Dee on all socials. At DUBULDEE. We are, of course, the D&D Football Factory, so that's at DD Footy Factory _ on the Twitter. For the pods, for any podcast questions, queries, anything, that page is at DD Footy Pod. That's at DD Footy Pod. And if you're watching this on YouTube, the pod will be available on wherever you get your podcasts under our page on SoundCloud. That's D&D Football Factory, and will be on the Shoot the Defense network on Audio Boom, Spotify, Apple, and everything else in between. But yeah, thanks guys. Nice one. Pod knocked out. That's the end of the episode 28, the 24-25 Premier League season predictions. We're out, people. God bless you.
Peace.
Peace.